Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. Happy day after Cinco de Mayo. We're here in Blue Mountains. It's kind of a gray, rainy day. This is our last live half in class. Maybe we should have called it that. Half and half class. Um, yeah. So we've really enjoyed doing these for the past, is it 3 years, maybe? It's been a while. Um, yeah. I don't know. I don't have much to say about it. It's been so great to connect with people near and far, to come in and just like move in our bodies. And we now have just a huge YouTube library playlist of these half and half classes. And um, those are going to stay available. And they're also going to be available on our broader video library at Pilates on Harrison. Um, that has just tons of classes, all so many of the classes that we've done since the beginning of the pandemic. um, I think starting in 2022 actually is our Pilates on Harrison library. Um, but yeah, so hopefully we'll see you all again, either in person or maybe you'll check those videos out on the video library at pilatesonharrison.com. But here we are, one last class, and Scott graduates next Friday. He's going to be a doctor. So this is the last time I can just call him Scott. It's like, I mean, Wednesday night, I think I can still call him Scott, but then I have to call him Dr. Anderson from now on. So I'm looking forward. I'm going to relish that, like being able to just have a name without a prefix. Let's do a little movement. Why don't we? We're going to start lying on your back, knees bent, feet flat, and just kind of settling and feeling the weight of your body on the floor. So a sense of just letting go of the mass of your body and letting the floor support that weight. Sometimes our postural muscles get stuck on, and then when you lie down, they don't turn off. But you don't need to hold your posture when you're lying on your back. You can let it go. And the utility of spending a little bit of time lying on the floor with gravity, letting your postural muscles release, is that then we can reset. Then when we go into our supine core exercises, we are training the postural muscles, but we've taken it to zero before we started doing that, right? We're not adding on layers of gunk, right? Scrape off the old paint before the new paint, or sand the floor before you refinish it. So here we are, we're just breathing, letting the muscles release and settle. And then feel how your breath moves as you do that. Maybe your exhale lasts a little longer. Maybe your inhale moves a little differently as things let go. And then next time you exhale, we're going to add a little tone to your abdominals. Not a big deal, just you exhale, and kind of midway through the exhale, you feel your abdominals start to come on. And then as you get farther and farther into the exhale, your abdominals come on a little more, a little more. And then just let them go with the inhale. And abdominals include the lower abdominals finding tone and the ribs drawing together in the front. So the next time we're going to find that tone on your exhale, we're going to try to keep it on the inhale. Now, that doesn't mean your belly won't move at all, but once you feel that engagement in your muscles, take an inhale and just keep the muscles engaged. You can inhale, you can feel some movement in your belly and still keep tone in those muscles. It's not as big a breath as if you let go, but it still just moves a little bit, right? Muscles don't have to be totally rigid, even when they're on. So then, once you've got a sense of that, inhaling, keeping your abdominals toned as you float your right leg up, exhaling, the muscles deepen a little more, right leg goes down. Inhale floats the left leg up, exhale, belly draws in a little deeper. So knee folds right and left, practicing the breath, keeping some tone in the belly. Inhale is the lift, exhale is the lower. The other thing that happens when you keep some tone in your belly is that maybe the breath goes some other places. Maybe it goes into your back a little more or your side ribs a little more. It doesn't all go into your belly. Maybe it goes into your chest a little more. You even out how the torso moves with inhale and exhale. Next time you have one leg up, you're going to keep that leg up. And as you exhale, bringing the second leg up. Inhale, the first leg goes down. Exhale, the second leg goes down. And then that second leg becomes your first leg. So switching, first leg up, second leg up. First leg down on the inhale, second leg down on the exhale. Now that's your first leg. So taking that pattern a few times, breath keeps moving, and belly keeps tone the whole time. Abdominals keep a little support the whole time. And next time you have both feet on the floor, we'll leave both feet on the floor. Let everything go for a breath or two. Now we'll take your hands behind your head, holding the back of your skull. We're going to bring the elbows up a little bit off the floor so the shoulder blades are wide. And as your elbows come up a little off the floor, can you feel how your ribs can just kind of settle in a little bit more? Right? So I get that lower rib connection, I get the chest softening. And with your exhale, little tone in your belly as your head floats up, looking through your thighs. And stay here. Feel the breath. You keep the tone as you inhale. You deepen the abdominal work as you exhale. It actually squeezes you up a little higher, brings your head a little higher, and then lowering back down. And we'll work with that pattern. Exhale. Find your belly to lift your head. Full breath cycle with the head lifted. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale back down. Now, everybody has a little different rhythm in how they breathe. So now you know the pattern. Take your own rhythm. All right, next one's going to set us up for the 100. However you do your 100. On that second exhale, you can take the arms forward or you could take one arm forward, floating the legs up. Here we go. Inhale 5. Exhale. Breathing in. Long exhale. So can you feel how you keep tone on the inhale and deepen and squeeze the belly on the exhale? 3 more times. Last one. And bring it all in. And again, then just let it all go, right? Just relax. Let your head and neck relax. Let your pelvis relax. And just take a nice full breath however you want to, in your chest, in your belly, or wherever. And then bring yourself up to sitting however you like. All right, so we're going to take left leg straight out on the floor in front of you and right knee bent. And then rounding the spine. So thinking head to tail down to pelvis, C shape. So you rock back behind your sits bones, you rock back behind your tailbone. You're not sitting up on your tailbone. Soften the chest, open the upper back, and then a nice curve in the head. Now, chin doesn't touch the chest necessarily. That's a little compressed in the front of the neck. But maybe like you had kind of a little tennis ball size space that you still look into your belly, but there's space between your chin and your chest. And then grabbing the back of your leg, keep that round shape, tip it backwards. And unrolling your spine all the way to your back. Now we've flattened out the spine. Can we find that curled, round C-shaped space, not by moving your pelvis, by moving the head, the upper back, softening the chest, little space between your chin and your chest, and then you're going to get stuck. We all get stuck to some degree. In that moment, exhale, press your leg into your hands, and slowly press through it, right? Maybe there's a little rock, but don't panic. Everybody panics in that moment. See if you cannot panic in that moment. And just keep slowly, bit by bit, working through that. Rolling back up with the inhale. And then as you exhale, soften the chest, draw the ribs in, press the leg. See what you get. And if you find you really are stuck and you can't get past it, don't go all the way down. Just go down to wherever you feel like you can hang out. And then come back up. And we'll switch to the other leg. Right leg out with the foot flexed, left knee bent. Rock behind your sitting bones, behind your tailbone. See if you can feel softening in the chest, softening in the ribs, navel in. A little bit of space between your chin and your chest, even though you're looking down. Now my arms really hold my leg. My biceps are on, right? My arms are working to do that. My leg also has to have a little weight, a little push into the arm, so I have a bit of a lock there. That's what makes my lever work. Gives me a lever for my spine. Inhale coming up. As you exhale, remember that leg is a lever. You got to push down on it, right? Using the hamstring, keeping that lock with the arms. It's going to lever the upper body off the mat. 2 more. Exhale. Keep exhaling, belly keeps drawing in. Last time. Take both legs out. Last one, rolling down slowly onto your back and staying on your back. Keeping the legs heavy the whole time now. And let the arms float back overhead. Right knee comes in, holding the back of your thigh. Bend your knee all the way down, let your heel drop. Feel your pelvis heavy. And with your inhale, stretch your leg up. And exhale, bend your knee down. Let's add a little foot if you want. So pointing as you reach up, flex your foot, reach your heel, bring it back down. And point as you reach up, flex to come down. One more time. Now, as you exhale, find the tone in your belly. It's not a big deal. You don't have to like tense as hard as possible. Just a little bit of tone in the ribs and the belly. You can still breathe. Hands come by your side. Take a nice full inhale, keeping that tone as you reach across. Exhale, circle the leg all the way around and back up to center. Inhale across over to the left. Exhale, deepen the tone in your belly. Your abdominals are holding your pelvis, your spine, your ribs, everything in place. Really steady as the leg moves. One more. Reverse. Abdominals do the same thing, right? Leg is circling the other way. Abdominals, breath is holding the torso still, so the leg can move more freely. Last one. Rest your right leg down. Take your left leg in, hold the back of your thigh. And then again, we're going to really let everything go. Bend your knee, drop your heel, relax your pelvis. Reset. Then with an inhale, stretch up. Flex your foot. Exhale down. One more time. Take the leg up. Exhale. Find the tone in your center. Take your hands by your side. Inhale, your leg reaches over to the right. You exhale, circle around. Pelvis steady, ribs steady. Don't have to work in your chest and your neck to do it. Exhale keeps coming from your center. Same circle, other direction. Last one. Bend your knee. One more time. Use it to roll up to sitting. Lever the leg forward. We're going to come over onto one side. Let's have it so your right leg is moving. So if you want to mirror me, oh, then your left leg will be moving, right? So I should go the other way. If you want to mirror me, you lie on your left side, and then your right leg will be moving. All right, now what we just did, lying on your back and then circling the leg around, trying to keep the torso steady, do the exact same thing. The difference is we're in a different alignment with gravity, right? We're in a narrower base to balance. Lying on your side is harder to balance than lying on your back, right? Just because it's a narrower line to balance on, right? A little more like you're on a balance beam. But the muscles are the same. We use that exhale, ribs, belly, a little bit of lift in the waist. When you inhale, your belly isn't rigid, but it's also not relaxed, right? So you keep that tone in your belly here. I'm going to take the top leg a little lifted, and as your leg goes forward, keep your torso steady. As it goes back, keep your torso steady. Inhale forward, exhale back. Now you could have your right hand down on the mat or you could take it behind your head. Then you have to work just in your abdominals to keep yourself steady. When the hand's down, it can help out a little bit. One more straight like this, front and back. And then we're going to try a little bit of a circle in this one. So you're going to reach forward, and it's like you draw a little rainbow with your toes to the back position. And then let's draw the rainbow back and forward. And then again, same thing. I'm going to keep my torso in place. I'm going to make my hip move, right? My hip joint move, as opposed to just moving my pelvis around, right? So abdominals work, and then the hip works better. One more time, coming up and forward, and then legs together. All right, let's look at the other side. Now lying on your right side, feet a little forward, tone in the ribs and the belly, a little bit of lift in the waist. Top leg lifts a little bit, maybe your hands behind your head. You inhale the leg forward, and you exhale, go back. Full breath in, but still tone in the belly. All right, then we start the rainbows. Forward, draw an arc up and over and back into the rainbow. There's no gold. So go back. Maybe the gold's on the other side. Nope, no gold there. Just have to keep going. Inhale up, exhale. Or maybe you could imagine there's gold every time. I don't know. Maybe there's just gold on the last one. And coming back up. And legs back together. All right, coming up to sitting. So let's do a little bit of spinal extension into kind of back bendy type things. We'll go into swan. One thing to think about in spinal extension, again, the abdominals are working. It's really helpful to keep the abdominals working in spinal extension because there's really no bones there, right? To sort of, when I open my back, there's nothing to support me. It's not like my rib cage supports the organs, the chest, right? That's good. But in my belly, like it just like the organs all hang out, right? So the belly creates some support there. Even though they're lengthening and kind of stretching, they can still work, right? They can be really long and they can work at the same time, which is very related to how you inhale and keep working the belly as well. Muscles don't have to always be like this to work. They can be in a range, right? So we're here, hands are forward of your shoulders. Find that tone in your belly. And then as you come forward, feel how the pelvis opens the front of the hips. Feel how the ribs stay connected and the belly keeps tone as you open the chest. And you get that long belly position without collapsing and letting everything go. Coming back to hands and knees. And again, find the tone. Exhale. Increase the tone even as you stretch. And back to hands and knees. One more time. And coming all the way back to child's pose. Let everything release here. And rolling up to sitting. All right, so we're going to take a little bit of rotation. We're going to go into the saw exercise, which I don't do a ton, but it's kind of a good feeling exercise. So if your hips are kind of tight, this might not feel like the best position. Maybe you want to sit up on something. You could sit all the way up in a chair and just have your legs out in front of you. Or you could sit up on a cushion or a pillow or a yoga block, something like that. If it's comfortable to sit on your sits bones, you might also just bend your knees down. So we're going to start hands behind your head, just like we did in the little crunches earlier. We're going to keep that sense of lifted tone in your belly. Use that as you rotate to the right, not super far. Just want to kind of rotate towards my foot. Then I'm going to take my left hand towards my right foot. I'm going to take my right hand and push up towards the ceiling. It's called the saw because I take my left pinky finger, saw off my right pinky toe. Maybe you reach that far, maybe you don't, but that's your direction. Let's go the other way. Rotate, right hand to left foot, left arm reaching up and back on the same diagonal, long diagonal from one fingertip to the other. Coming back up. Now you can do that hands behind your head version. You could start with the arms out. Inhale, twisting. Exhale, reaching forward. Back to center. Other direction. Inhale, twist. Exhale. Both sits bones stay in place. Make your rib cage twist, but not your pelvis. One more each side. Looking behind me, I'm seeing where I need to dust the baseboards. So the baseboards, it's not so good that we need to dust baseboards, but it's good that I'm twisting so far you can see all the way back there. Relax. All right. Let's come over onto your hands and feet. And take a little stretch up. And just take a moment here, feeling the head hang, feeling the upper back release, letting your belly kind of hollow out in this upside down position. And then easily, either with your knees bent or your legs straight, whatever you prefer, one vertebra at a time, unrolling your spine. All the way up to standing. All right, I'm going to do my last handoff, my last AirPod handoff to Mr. Scott Anderson, not doctor yet.
All right, everybody. So let's start off in standing. Just good old-fashioned, nothing special standing. So it can be deceptive to say nothing special because what a miracle it is to be able to stand up. The strength it requires, the balance. So I invite you to bring attention to how the weight shifts across both your feet. Not that there's something wrong with that, but that's part of the wonder of being able to balance your body. So let's take a few moments quietly and simply feeling how the weight naturally, organically shifts, allowing you to stand upright. And the wonder of the human body's ability to adapt. So now let's move into the sumo squat. Hands on your hips, step your feet wide apart. And then from your hip sockets, turn your legs and feet outward. Exhale, bend, triple flexion. And then inhale, come up. So as you bend, maybe you already felt how your sitting bones naturally tend to slide apart. And as you come up, how they naturally tend to slide together. So if you remember earlier the discussion about the abdominals, the muscles can work as they shorten, concentric contraction. And muscles can also work as they elongate, eccentric contraction. And that's one of the reasons that almost every session I do at least a handful of sumo squats, so good for the pelvic floor muscles. Their ability to work in lengthening eccentrically, and to tone their capacity to work in shortening concentrically. Let's do 2 more sumo squats. And then turn your feet back forward and step your feet together. When you stand, naturally the weight adjusts, shifts. That's what helps you stay upright. So watch what happens when you close your eyes. Then, having closed your eyes for a bit, open your eyes. And did that little bit of sway stay the same, or did it increase? Most people experience it increases because you're taking visual input out of the computer system. So let's explore this more dynamically. Step your feet wide apart. Turn your left foot in, right foot out. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straight. Single leg sumo. So whether you feel it or not, in a beneficial way, this is working pelvic floor muscles. The next time your knee in the bent position, let's pause there. Then with your knee over your arch, take that corresponding heel up a few inches. And then slowly over a count of 5, descend that heel down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, contact. Now if you'd like to challenge your balance, work on your balance. Close your eyes. Whether your eyes are open or closed, a few more breaths here. And then if you closed your eyes, open your eyes. Come up with the in-breath. Turn back to the front. Second side, right foot in, left foot out. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. So the way that your body balances is that first has to perceive where the body is in space. And there's 3 primary information streams. One is from the inner ear, the vestibular sense. Another is from body sensations, the proprioceptive sense. And the third information stream is visual, from your eyes. Next time that knee in the bent position, knee over arch, pause there. Take that corresponding heel up a few inches. And then slowly over a count of 5, descend that heel down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, contact. Houston, we have contact. So now let's take the visual sense out of the information stream. If you choose to, close your eyes. And this is a good way to work on your balance, because as we age, we tend to become less reliant on vestibulation and proprioception. we become overly reliant on visual. If you closed your eyes, now open your eyes. Inhale up, exhale back to the front, and then step your feet together. Feet on the floor, as opposed to hovering off the floor. Head held high, shoulders a little bit back. It's really easily overdone. Then if you want to work a little bit more on your balance, close your eyes. And we can reframe the increased wobble that occurs when you close your eyes. As your body's searching for information, and increasing the amplitude of the wobble is more input in the joints. It's more input in the inner ear. Now let's make our way to the floor. Exhale, take your lower ribs, connect them to your abdomen, what we call knit the ribs. Keep that connection. Inhale, arms up, chin up. Exhale down. A few breaths here. So notice in this position here, how lower front ribs are naturally connected to the abdomen. So maintain that dynamic connection. Inhale, stretch the crown of your head forward. Keep your neck long as you do so. And then with a forthcoming exhale, step your feet back. Back into yoga pose, head down dog. So some of the key features of head down dog is to plant your hands on the floor. Keep your hands planted where they are as they are. As you move your butt toward that wall behind you, maybe you're already feeling how that opens up your armpits and how that can help decompress or even lengthen the spine. And a few more breaths here. And then come on down to your knees, down to the floor. Knees bent, feet upon the floor. Take those two sitting bones, ischial tuberosities, and project them down into the basement to lift up through the crown of your head. And keeping that elongation in your spine, take your left foot forward. Right foot either comes in, or provided there's no pinch in your groin, can come up and over. Left arm comes across. Turn to your right. And breathe. Now, of your two sitting bones, which one has the most weight in it? Whichever one feels lighter. Telescope that sitting bone down into the floor to allow you to sit up even taller. A few more breaths here. And back in toward the middle. Back to the starting point. Sitting bones down, head up. And now your right foot forward. Left foot in closer or perhaps crossed over. Right arm across. And turn to your left. Now what I feel is that the bent leg, that sitting bone is the one that tends to hike up. So I'm going to work on taking, in my case, that less sitting bone down because I'm speaking mirror image to you all. And then turn. A few more breaths. And back in toward the middle. Both feet forward. Both feet forward. Take your arms up. And then we're going to do a trickle down forward bend. Start with chin to your chest and let the spine movement cascade from top to bottom. Bring your arms forward as you do so. Hands maybe come to your knees or your shins. Maybe even way out toward your feet. And a few breaths here. So we came into this front bend with a cascade that originated at the head and culminated in lower back. Now the cascade in the reverse. Stacking your lower back vertebra, segment upon segment, upper back vertebra, segment upon segment, neck, segment upon segment, head, stacked above your spine. So a variation on that theme. Again, a mirror image of you all. Take your right leg folded in, if possible, foot against thigh, arms up, and a spine flexion cascade from top to bottom. And then a spine cascade from bottom to top. Arms down, leg forward. Second side. Left leg comes in, sole against thigh, arms up, spine flexion cascade, trickle down flexion. And then trickle down extension. That's where you go from flexion back up to the vertical. Arms down, leg forward. Now, the bound angle, or sometimes called the butterfly, hands could either catch the foot or reach back. The point to what your arms do is to help you sit tall. Head up, chest lifted. But getting your knees to the floor really isn't that important. What is more important is to take your knees away from each other. Left knee to the left, right knee to the right, and breathe. Come on back up. Bring both feet forward. Both arms up. You can probably see it coming. Trickle down flexion. Few breaths. And then trickle down extension, where you go from flexion back up to the vertical. Arms down. Final twist. Bring your right foot in. If it works for you, bring it across. Left arm comes around to give a hug. Equalize the weight in your two sitting bones. And breathe. Back in toward the middle. Both feet forward. Left foot in. Perhaps crouched over. Twist the other direction. Again, equalizing the weight in the two sitting bones, getting the maximum benefit from the time you're spending here. Back in toward the middle. And both feet back forward. Now taking your legs a little bit apart. So you're in a similar movement you did the saw a little bit earlier, didn't you? So a variation on that theme, when you trickle down flexion and your hands forward, almost like little spiders. And as you trickle down flexion, walking your hands forward. So part of that flexion is not looking forward, but to free up your neck, looking down. A few more breaths here. Moving from flexion back up to the vertical, trickle up. Just like a child stacks their blocks. All right, let's move into sitting. Do some yoga breathing. So it could be on a chair, could be on a cushion, could be flat upon the floor. But generally I sit up on something because otherwise I end up having to tighten or tense up in order to not fall over backwards. So we often use the term knit the ribs. And what we mean by that is to take these lower ribs where my fingertips are touching and move those ribs together toward each other. At the same time, move them down toward the pubic bone. And at the same time, back toward the spine. We're going to use the exhale to facilitate that knitting. With your next exhale, almost like you're going to blow out the candles on a birthday cake. Use that dynamic out breath to draw the lower ribs together, down, and back. Again, with the exhale, lower ribs toward each other, down toward the pubic bone, back toward the spine. Now, as best you can, maintain that knitting or connecting as you inhale. Now, a lot of people report that maintaining that connection or knitting makes it hard to inhale. And that's because a lot of people, their rib cage is restricted. So what we're going to do is use the breathing to help open up the rib cage. Price of admission is what you do on the exhale, knitting. Keep that dynamic connection. Inhale into your lungs. Exhale, make the connection, maintain the connection as you inhale. Now, perhaps you're thinking to yourself, inhale into your lungs. Isn't that kind of a foregone conclusion? Well, I mention it because the lungs are really high up in the ribs. Inhale into your lungs. The lungs are not in the abdomen. They're up high in the chest. The lungs are not in the lower ribs. They're higher than that. Inhale into your lungs. Now, sometimes people tell me that it's bad to breathe in your chest and it's good to breathe in your belly. And almost all of those people also have a very locked up, rigid rib cage. Breathe where your lungs are. Enjoy the full freedom to take a deep breath. Now, maybe your rib cage is a little restricted, and for the time being, it's hard to get the breath up to where the lungs are. However, you can use this technique, knit your ribs. Keep that connection as you inhale. Practice breathing where your lungs are. And in time, your rib cage will free up. More freedom in the rib cage creates more ease between the shoulder blades. More freedom in the rib cage helps to release neck tension. More ease in the rib cage supports good posture. Let's take a few more of these deeper breaths to focus on the exhale, the dynamic connection. Maintain that connection and inhale into your lungs. I'll let go of the deep breathing and breathe normally. All right. Well, thank you so much. It's been really wonderful to be here with you all over the last 3+ years. So these classes, half and half, will remain available to you all on YouTube. And then if you want access to our full library, which is hundreds of additional classes, you can access those by going to pilatesonharrison.com. We have a $10 per month special in order to access our entire video library, not just half and half, but also mindful cardio, Pilates classes, strength classes, our whole repertoire. So it's been wonderful to be here with you all, and I hope that again, our paths will cross. Before I close for the day, any comments, any questions in the chat? Thanks so much. Have a great rest of the weekend.